Bagels. All right. Well, while James is
all right,
whatever's going on over there.
Yeah, Taiwan Major.
Let's talk about this fighting game tournament. So people who did not make top 8, because there were some good ones, included Kim1234 at 13th place, Inko Rufus, probably the best Rufus right now, 13th place, KOK Sagat, Shiro, Yubiken Shiro, 9th place, Onigiri Kai, 9th place with Balrog. That dude is crazy. I mean, I've seen him play before, but I mean, he was doing all, like, he had a frame trap that was like crouching strong, EX headbutt.
Like Ling Boop?
No, he just did it.
Oh, he just did
it. Was just a frame trap.
He just went for it?
It was like a mix-up, I guess.
Dang.
Whatever.
Okay.
He also tried cross-up jump roundhouse with Boxer.
He tried to, like, do that setup?
No, not even like a setup. Like, he, like, legit was aiming at the dude's head. So it didn't work, obviously. I don't know if he has, like, a setup that he only knows and it was, like, just off or what. But he went for it.
Okay, more power to him, dude. More power to him.
It was bizarre.
So,
but no, I mean, he had a lot of good reads. He got 9th place. Anyways, top 8.
Yes.
Reketsu with Poison and Vega, 7th place. Also 7th, Gonzalez with Seth. 5th, Tonpi, Viper, and Jiwa with Ken. 4th was Chuan with Guile, Feilong, and Rose. 3rd place was Itabashi Zangief, Itazan with Zangief.
Nice.
2nd place, Storm Kubo, Hugo. Winner of the whole thing was Misei Makoto.
Makoto took it, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I heard more about the second place winner than I did about the first place. I don't think I even heard that Misei won, but I definitely heard about Storm Kubo. So.
Well, look, this was no small tournament.
Yes.
Okay? It was no weekly. It's not like it was some rando regional. It had a lot of good players.
Yes.
So he got 2nd place with Hugo, like, legit.
Dude, Hugo is considered low tier because of who he is. I think it's the same reason why everyone thinks Hakan is low tier. Because it's just you're so used to having those characters be useless that you just automatically assume that they're bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Hakan, it's just for some reason because he's silly that people think he's bad or something. I don't know.
He's hard to use, you know.
Right,
I sort of get it more with Hakan. He's ugly. At least with Hugo, there's the he was in Third Strike factor.
Right.
So there's a little bit of history there.
But see, like, even people, I think if you ask people who don't know Third Strike, they probably assume Hugo's bad in Third Strike as well.
Yeah, they probably do.
You know what I mean?
But he is.
I mean, is he really that terrible?
Well,
he's not the worst,
He's not the worst.
Right, okay.
You got me there.
Okay.
You got me there. He's not the worst.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I do think he's pretty good in this game.
Yes.
And he does have some bad matchups, but those bad matchups are underplayed characters, rare characters, not particularly top tier or anything characters. So it's rare for Hugo to run into a Goken.
Right.
It's rare for Hugo to run into a Dawson.
Is Jury still a bad matchup for him?
Yeah, Jury, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
Rare to run into those. So, he does well, I think, against almost all of the good characters. Not that he beats them,
right?
But he's right in all those matchups.
You can use him to win.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It's winnable.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah,
I think he's pretty even against all the Shotos. I think that he does fine. So I hope that more people give him a look. But even as is, I mean, this Storm Kubo 2nd place, right? Infectious Hugo 3rd place in a couple of tournaments over in UK and Western Europe.
By knocking Bonchan into losers at EVO.
How about Alucard knocking Momochi
out of the
tournament
at
CEO.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that there are people playing him at least.
Right, yeah.
And then Tokido lost to Infectious.
Yeah, he lost to Infectious. Yeah.
Anyway,
so you actually got to watch some of those matches, right?
Yes.
Storm Kubo. I mean, how did it look? How was he playing?
He is a reads monster.
Okay.
He certainly has very good spacing. Don't get me wrong, but he has great reads. So like, whereas Infectious will play Hugo as almost just a footsies, claps, stay at the mid-range sort of character. Storm Kubo will definitely bring in Meat Squasher and Dash Pile Driver and Overhead and whatever.
You said he was even doing like the butt and Dolphinator like 2 or 3 times in a row.
He legit used butt. Butt is not terrible.
Okay.
Because it goes pretty far. It's very fast, hard knockdown.
I can imagine it catches backdashes.
It does.
And stuff
Most
like that,
backdashes.
Yeah.
Dolphinator actually has a pretty good anti-air hitbox.
Oh, okay.
Which is how he used it.
Okay.
What surprised me was that he used dropkick, stand roundhouse dropkick.
Really?
He used that. That was one he used 2-3 times in a row.
Dang.
That button, for my money, is one of the worst in the game. But he did it. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's really good.
Shout outs to him. So, then that means Storm Kubo actually has a decent chunk of ranking points now. In fact, I heard, I'm not sure, I'd have to check to see if this is actually true, but I heard within the top 32, he's in there now, like for the Capcom Cup qualifiers.
That would make me really excited.
Yeah, so I would assume Misei's in there as well. And it's going to be really interesting because right now we're getting to kind of crunch time for Capcom Pro Tour, and there's not a lot of U.S. events left. No. SCR's coming up, Canada Cup kind of sort of counts because it's close enough for them. But like these are all CPT Asia qualifiers, and then CPT Asia. So there's still going to be some more qualifiers for CPT Asia. So I just don't feel like there's a lot of wiggle room for the U.S. players anymore.
It's not looking good.
They gotta, dude. We're gonna have like 2 of them in there. It's gonna be like
Knuckle
Dude and Justin. That's it. That's all it's gonna be there. So
yeah. And if that happens, I sort of don't think it would be that unjust.
I know exactly what you mean.
Look, this was, as you said, to qualify for Capcom Pro Tour Asia Finals. So it's not like Misei qualifies automatically for CPT.
Right. Oops.
That thing's gone.
Yeah. You know what? Screw it. I'm turning this thing on too.
Why not?
Because it's
very
so warm.
It's very warm. Anyway, Misei Makoto, very, very good.
Yes.
He plays that character so fast.
Oh, really?
Very fast.
Okay.
There are times when he stays at a certain spot on screen and he does the Makoto stick out button, buffer, whatever, of course. But he also he can get going. And once he does, that character has the damage output and stun output to really make it scary.
Right.
So, he's really good. I'm really happy that he did well, because I think that character is really good, and almost nobody uses her. In fact, people who did dropped her in favor of Abel, etc. Other characters too. Very cool to see Misei doing well. Itazan versus Storm Kubo, that happened in winners and losers.
Oh damn! Okay. Big body brawl.
Yeah, it's a pretty even matchup, I think, but very, very tough from both sides. It's just a nerve-wracking sort of matchup. But they were laughing and having a good time.
Oh, that's
really
cool.
That's
cool. Okay,
but Itazan played it really well. I thought those were the most notable.
Okay.
Schwan got wrecked, man, by Storm Kubo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He tried to go Rose, and that got blown up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just weird. I feel like, because remember when Capcom Cup came around, and people talked to Daigo, like, are you worried about Snake Eyes? And he was like, it's Zangief. I feel like people still kind of have that attitude with Hugo, like, I should be able to play the standard grappler keep out game, and I should be able to do fine, and then that just doesn't work. Not against Hugo.
Yeah, gotta play him differently.
So.
Okay. Anyway, it was a good event.
Okay.
Shout out to everybody who did well.
Yep. Alright, so what else happened this weekend?
Also was that Toshin-Gekitotsu event with Xrd. It was the exhibition style event where, some players on one side, some players on the other side, and they had a sort of everybody plays.
They just set up 10 matchups between 2 teams. The blue team, I believe, which was the Guilty Gear Kings, and the red team, which were the Pro Gamer Alliance.
Yeah.
So basically, like the Guilty Gear specialists versus the
but that said, the Pro Gamer Alliance had a lot of Guilty Gear specialists / ex-Guilty Gear specialists. So it's not like they were coming out of nowhere.
But I mean, it was kind of interesting. They just set it up so it was an exhibition. They just played 10 matches. I think they just picked who they wanted to see go up against each other, because they created some really interesting matchups here. And they just played them out, and I think it was just an exhibition. I don't even know if there was anything like, oh, this team won or anything like that. It was just, let's just have some fun with this event. And I mean, it was just really cool to see it go. And I mean, I guess I could just read out the results here. So we had Taka with Slayer. So the first person I name is going to be the Guilty Gear Alliance. Second player is going to be
Guilty Gear
Kings versus the Pro Gamer Alliance. So Taka with Slayer defeated Roy, I guess. I'm reading it like French.
Roy,
With Soul Bad Guy 3-1. Keisha with Faust defeated Ain's Kaikisk with 3-2. Koichi's Ino beat Nakasu Bedman. There's a guy whose nickname is Bedman, and he's not on the Guilty Gear Kings, but he beat him 3-2. Takehara with Ramlethal actually lost to Mochi's Soul Bad Guy 2-3, so that was a win for the Pro Gamer Alliance. Hamburg's Elfelt defeated Nakamura's Milia Rage. It's not 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy to do against Milia. I didn't see that match. I might have to go and see what the heck he did. So,
okay.
But Karinchu's Milia defeated Dogura Sinkisk 3-0. Beat Dogura 3-0.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good.
Crazy. Yeah. Then Susumu with Chips Enough lost to Machabo's Kai.
Oh, wasn't Machabo the one who just did really, really well at Arc Revo?
Yeah,
like last weekend?
yeah, and he's. I always knew that he had a super good soul, but it's interesting. I think he used Kai at Arc Revo, and I think he's using Kai here as well. So I guess he's just switched. But it was close. It was 2-3. But apparently Machabo was on the Pro Gamer Alliance team.
Yeah.
Then we got Nage, second place Evo finisher with Faust, going up against Kazunoko, Soul Bad Guy, and Nage won that 3-1. FAB Potemkin won up against Sako with Zato 1, and FAB won 3-1. And it's funny because Sako started really well. Like, I think I woke up in the middle of the night because I just had it streaming on my iPad next to my bed, and I fell asleep. And I woke up and I saw them play each other, and then I fell asleep again before I could catch Ogawa versus Daigo. But then I did go watch the video of Ogawa versus Daigo. They played battle number 10. Ogawa, of course, the Zato 1 god, the Zatoichi god.
Who won Evo this year.
And
he was playing on his gold stick.
Dude, that was so sick.
From Evo Top 8, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's so sick. They even highlighted it and everything, yeah. But he went up against Daigo Umehara, who everyone was like, Daigo has no chance. Daigo went up 2-0 against Ogawa.
Yep.
But then Ogawa just figured it out. And 3 games in a row solidly took the win over Daigo Umehara. So, but it was a lot closer than people thought. So, yeah, so good stuff to Daigo.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, if that had been a tournament and it wasn't like winners finals or whatever, I mean, Daigo would have taken it 2-0. It would have moved on.
Yep.
I think that's really cool. What I'm a bit surprised about is that Daigo was willing to do it, to be frank.
Right, yeah, because there's been a lot of talk that he wants to focus on certain games.
Just SF4 and 5, right? I mean, really. Which is too bad, because he used to be known as being a multiplayer game. He would play a bunch of different games.
Right,
a bunch of different games. And do really well in all of them. And that's what he did until midway through SF4. He just made it 4. Right. And it's been like that this whole time. And so I'm a bit surprised that he was willing to do the Xrd thing. I'm happy he was. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's a good sign that he's planning to go ahead and just do more, different things and stuff like that.
I totally agree. I really hope to see more of him playing Xrd and other games too, not just...
I hope this is not just like, it's in between 4 and 5 so I can take this break, you know what I mean? So I hope he's willing to keep playing a bunch of different games as well. So I mean, it's really interesting because I did have a conversation with some people on Twitter, like with Eduardo and all these guys like that, and they were just saying like, it's not good to play multiple games anymore. Like, they're just like, you can't specialize in more than one game. Like, you can play other games for fun and learn stuff from them, but you really can only focus on one game. I mean, what do you think of that?
I think that might be true at the very tippy top levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's not true up until the level where almost everybody is, because it's just really helpful to learn things from different games. And when you play different games, you do learn things.
Right.
Every game has something to teach. But if you're already at that super high level, like Ed is, like Daigo is, then it might be better to just focus on one game.
Right.
Really, I mean, I can understand that for sure. Especially if that game is MKX, because you have no idea what's happening a week and a half later.
Yes.
If you don't play it. So.
But one thing that that this tournament did produce was perhaps one of the greatest animated GIFs in the world. Like, seriously, like, this...
It's not even, like, the greatest fighting game GIF. It's, like, one of the best that I've seen in a while. Like, any context.
Yes. Here, I'm just going to play it on stream here. Here we go. There, introduce the players. So, Daigo gets up there and is like, hey, what's up, everyone? Wait, what? Hey, oh, everyone's doing it. Okay.
When you roll up with the squad, but forget the pose.
And seriously,
that's a really good tweet.
Like,
good tweet.
Daigo, like he's so cute. Like, it's so adorable. Like how it went, dude. Yeah. It's so funny too.
That's awesome.
And like, dude, like if you tried to film a scene where someone came up and had that reaction, like I don't think you could. Even like the best actor in the world could have done it as well as Daigo did.
Yeah.
Because I just like the way he's like.
Figuring it out, yeah.
Like really fast. He was just trying to get there, so.
Yeah. It's cool too because he gets a reputation for being like a robot and whatever, but that's not the case.
Right.
It's not the case. It's cool to see a little bit of personality there.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. But the funny thing is, even if he wanted to choose his personality, he'd want to. It seems like he wants to be more serious and stuff, and to have that happen, is just.
I mean, he's not. I don't think he's really that serious. Like,
no.
See him hanging out with people who speak Japanese. He's always like joking around.
And then when you get him drunk, he calls Justin free.
That's true. Yeah. Definitely seen him. We've gone out to events where he drinks afterward, and we're all drinking. It's an after party, and he's as jovial as anybody else.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's true. It's true. So, but yeah, so that was really cool, and lots of Guilty Gear Revelator news coming out too. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. So, also happened just earlier this week. Well, not earlier this week, but previous week was. And dude, this came out of nowhere. Like, it literally was announced right before it started, practically.
Pretty much.
Which was this Pokken World Invitational took place in Texas, I think it was. And a whole bunch of people were flown out for it to play in this event, including...
I want to say it was in Boston.
Was it in Boston?
Because that's where I heard about the plot going on, but I'm not sure.
Oh, was it at the Pokemon World Championships?
Yeah.
Oh, it was at that. Oh,
yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, we'll talk about that in a sec. But first...
Holy crap. Okay.
This game Pokken, right? So it's been out in Japan for a little while. Hasn't been out in North America. And so what they did was they had an exhibition for it where they invited fighting game players from across the board, Smash players, Tekken, Street Fighter, whatever.
This list here has Justin, Hugs, NYC Fab, Tasty Steve, Spooky, Rip was out there, and then Markman and D1 were even out there to do commentary for the game.
And a couple of other players. One was they were both Pokemon players. One was the card game player.
Oh really?
Was,
okay.
The champion for the
nice
video game. You get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was really cool that they invited such a disparate group, people who represent like a bunch of different fighting games, and people who just represent Pokemon. Yes. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah.
And it turned out that the guy who did well, who's one of the Pokemon players there, actually had been playing the game. From what I heard, he's played the game before, so he had a little more experience.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's just really interesting because I guess the way the game turns out, it's when I didn't get to see any of this event. I did watch a little bit of footage afterwards, not too much though. But it really looks like to me a perfect blend between Virtual On and Tekken. Like it's like when you're fighting, you're doing this and you're shooting. It looks like you're doing like the dash strafing and stuff like that. Then when you get close enough, all of a sudden, instead of having like those melee moves, it literally turns into like a Tekken kind of game. And apparently you can have assists, so basically there's a set of Pokemon that you can pick as assists, and they have different powers and such like that. I don't know, did you get a chance to watch a lot of it?
I did. I watched almost the whole thing.
Oh, okay, nice. What did you think of the game?
Very unique and interesting, not in a bad way. Just very interesting looking, I thought. I like the idea that it has those two phases you were talking about, and there's a very clear delineation between them because different moves cause switching into the... I think that's called dual phase and field phase, something like that.
Okay.
And so, like, if you grab, it goes back to one of the phases. Like, there's like these ways to switch that I thought were very interesting. And there's, of course, the zoners, and there's the Rushdown.
Oh,
and,
dang.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. There's the sort of grappler character and Machamp. I mean, there's all they have the different types of characters, and the mobility is quite different. And they some like put things out on the ground, and some are just shooting stuff at you. And it seems like there's a lot of variety there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were, I heard some people lobbing some complaints that, it's largely most of the combos are just attack, like one button, literally kind of thing. Like, I think people were saying it feels kind of like Naruto, which I've never played any of those games. But I mean, do you feel like it has from what you saw, do you feel like it has a potential for a legitimate tournament scene?
I don't see why not. I mean, it certainly has mix-ups and spacing and all those things. Like, there were definitely moments where Spooky, I don't remember what that character was called. Suikune.
Okay.
Like, start shooting some crap. And in order to start doing that, she would jump up into the air and start shooting some crap. Right? But it only hits a certain spot, I mean, like,
right,
so if you're outside of that, you can, like, do something to counteract, and that happened.
Right.
So towards the end of it, people started, like, to outrange, sort of figured out the ranges. It's just, it's a different looking fighting game, but it's just
cool.
It's just a fighting game, really. The mix-ups are quite different, though. No overhead lows. It's really just like grab.
Oh, that's really interesting because Tekken's a very overhead, high, low kind of based game. So okay. Well, I mean, was it only just the 8 players that were there for the invite?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tied for 7th were Spooky and Jason K. Was that the card player, Jason K? Do you know?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And then tied for 5th was Tasty Steve and Sejun Park. 4th place was Hugs. 3rd place was Third place was NYC Fab. 2nd place, Justin Wong.
Yeah.
And 1st place, Rip, aka Reeple Parbu. Tempo Storm, Reeple Parbu. True. Yes, taking 1st place, which actually shocked me. Not because I don't think he's good, but it's because Justin is so good on those day 1 tournaments.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? He's like, he won that. Remember in Street Fighter V at E3, he blew everybody up with Bison. Then when Mortal Kombat 9 first came out, he won that event. Justin's just really good at adapting to games super fast. So props to Rip for taking 1st place at this event. So
I hear you. He played very well. Pikachu looks really good.
Did they have a grappler Pikachu? Like Pikachu Libre or something?
Yeah, like Lucha Pikachu or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, is it like an actual grappler Pikachu?
I don't know. It wasn't played.
That'd be sick if
nobody played Gengar. That made me so sad. I wanted to see what Gengar would do, like how that character plays. But no, it was really cool to watch. I really enjoyed it. I wish that it was announced a little bit more. I thought that was very strange that it just sort of appeared.
It's a weird marketing strategy. I mean, there's a little bit more news, regarding it. Do you want to talk about because I kind of want to talk about the setup with the controls and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about that when we announce later on when we just talk about games, or do you want to talk about that now?
That's how we talk about it now.
Okay. No, I mean, because what they said was really interesting is that it wasn't even played on arcade joysticks. It was played on the arcade machine itself, I guess, that they're going to release in Japan. Literally, it has a thing with pads hanging off of it. It looks like, and so it's like you're playing an arcade game on control pads. Yeah. So it's almost like they're just setting it up for the home system at this point.
I think you're right.
So I don't know. It just seemed like a cool idea to me.
I agree.
A good balance, and it doesn't. And another thing too is because of that 3D movement part, it's probably really important to have analog controllers. So it's probably easier to just do that on a pad as opposed to trying to build analog controllers into the joystick and stuff like that. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you said, there was a little bit more news about it, about the sort of larger event. People were found, a couple of guys were found, who had driven there from Iowa, if I recall correctly. Okay. And they had guns, and they had ammunition, and they had threatened to attack the event. It was at Pokemon World Championships. And thankfully they were found out, and nothing came of it, but...
Yeah, I'm really glad that
scary.
The people who... Because they made some kind of off-color comments that could easily have not been interpreted as threatening. Basically, someone said, hey, you guys are going to hang out at this event, or you guys are going to do something, and the guy responded with oh, you mean killing the competition? you know.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and then someone was like, yeah, ha ha ha, respond, because they just thought he was joking.
Sure.
But some people actually just took that and was like, this just doesn't sound good, and they reported him.
Is that how it happened?
Yeah, and then so when the guards actually saw them, they walked in and they recognized them, and so they were able to catch them, and they found like all this stuff in their car and all these weapons in their car and everything like that.
I didn't know that. Gee, I didn't know that was the story. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was something to that effect. Yeah. So I'm really glad someone read that and was like, this just doesn't seem good. You know?
I guess, yeah, but what a lucky catch. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
Very, very strange.
Yeah. But
well,
no, what were you going to say?
I would kind of like to talk more about, having more security at events.
Right. Do you want to save that for the end then?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll save that for the end. Let me tack that on here. Oh, actually, I already have it there. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit later on because the Hadu kind of put out an interesting tweet, and I do want to get into that a little bit. So, okay.
That later.
Do you want to take a break real quick, or do you want to go into some of the upcoming
Let's
events?
take a break.
Okay, cool. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about all sorts of crazy events that are happening in the next year, all over the place. So, be right back.